Like the lobster, when it grows, what happens? It's gonna break through its shell. It's gonna literally break its shell and shed it. And then it's vulnerable. It's gotta go hide under a rock because anything could eat it because it's got no protection. And then it creates this new shell. And life was like that. When we want to grow, like God, life is gonna throw you a challenge that now can give you the opportunity to grow.
May this space be of growth, of love, of contribution for conscious planets, an inspiring and loving planet. May the content, the experiences that we share today be of help for everyone giving their time, their attention to us today.
Yeah, beautiful. Um, it's intention just to be present, to share from my heart, and hopefully learn as well at the same time, and say something that can meet someone exactly where they're at. So they're listening in the right synchronicity at the right time, that can provide some value to them, and our conversation can provide some value to them as we weave together here and just drop into a deep conversation.
Aho to that. Giovanni Bartolomeo, welcome to Next Evolution podcast. We met recently as a breathwork. You're my breathwork guide, mentor, teacher, master. I've been waking up every morning and doing breathwork for half an hour and for now 2 months. And I've been learning with elemental rhythm. And I went to Canada, traveled from Brazil to Canada to get the tools, to get the knowledge, get the experience to learn about breath work. And so with Giovanni, we danced together, we sang, we breathed. He challenged me, you challenged me. I hope I challenged you a little bit as well. And it's been quite a beautiful encounter. So welcome, Gio, to this episode of Next Evolution.
Thank you. It's a pleasure and honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me to come here and share and have this conversation. So I'm super grateful. And yeah, it's also a pleasure to meet you, and your unique energy and such a beautiful human being and all the things that you brought to the training in your own way. So I'm grateful to have met you and excited to share and to connect with you here today.
Thank you. And there are many layers where we encountered plant medicine, podcasting. You're a podcaster, you're into plant medicine, you're into breathwork, you're into transformation, you're into entrepreneurship. So many things in common that we have that I find very interesting, synchronicity of encounter and to start. And I like to start deep. I don't like to lose much time in knowing the weather, and so I like deep. And I just remembered a beautiful question that was asked to me some time ago. And it was in a workshop, and they asked me, David, if you knew that this was your last space to share your message with the world, what would it be? And it was a deep, beautiful process. And I had to connect with the pain inside of me, the pain of, oh man, in my family, on the masculine side, we have so many challenges on loving life, on appreciating life, on allowing ourselves to be joyful, happy. We always find something to criticize. And it's like, from generation, from Czechoslovakian, Swiss culture, we cannot be happy. We need to look at what's not doing well, what can be better. And I came up with this message of, oh, man, life is so magical, so beautiful, so just wow. And this is my message. And if I can share it now and I can help others see that, then my life is worth it. Simple question, Gio.
Simple.
Your one message that is so important to share with the world right now.
Yeah, I guess what I would share from my experience up to this date is that don't take life too seriously. Don't take life too seriously and worry and stress, because we're only here for a short time and we're all going to go somewhere else maybe. And this is a beautiful mystery that we don't know. And if we spend our whole life being so serious and worrying and trying to do all these things, we're going to miss it. And not to worry, because you are the creator of your reality. You are the hero in your own story, and you can do whatever you really want once you start to see it differently versus an actor in someone else's movie that this world has created that I'm just in. No, you are the creator of your own story and your own reality, and not to worry and to take things so seriously. And I realized that when I was in a really hard space in my life, and my teacher in a plant medicine ceremony, and I was there and sad and depressed and angry, and he just looked at me and he's like, "Hey, don't worry, everything's gonna be okay." And I'm like, "You don't know what I'm going through, you don't know." But he had been there already. When he knows, it's okay. Like, us worrying and fear is not going to change anything, because we're taking it too seriously. We're making all this meaning out of really things that are not that important. When you can let go of that and make life more about play and adventure, these things. And when I say less seriously, it means not don't care about life, but more just let go. And it may seem so cliche, and if I hear this at a different point in my life, it makes sense. But to try to understand that's possible and to try to understand what that means was that pathway for me to start really understanding it. That, okay, like, less seriousness and playfulness is a possibility, and how do I tap into that? And then I started realizing, as I started breaking free from the conditioning, that it was possible. And sometimes I catch myself getting too serious. Wait a minute, this is not the way I'm supposed to live my life. So in all the practices, whether it's plant medicine, business, breathwork, meditation, retreats, it's all about increasing your self-awareness, consciousness, being more aware. Even entrepreneurship is this beautiful mirror and challenge to learn more about yourself, right? And learn where you're stuck and attached, and where you get stuck in your mind and take things serious and stress. So sum it up, everything is going to be just fine. It's happening the way it should be. Don't stress, don't worry, play. Be that hero in your story. You can change anything at any time, as long as you believe that's possible.
So let's bring that to specific for leaders listening to us right now, business leaders who depend on goals, settings, paying salaries, wages. It's a lot of obligation if you look at it in a way, because, okay, so we want to grow 10%, 20% this year. And so we want to hire more people. And so there are all those, I guess obligation is a good word. And you're bringing another facet, another look at it of be playful, have fun, enjoy. How do you see both those worlds merging, leadership, business, and let's just have fun and not be attached to the outcome in a way?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll try to relate it to my own experiences, but a lot of those things, like, it's important to use the skills that you've picked up in your life that makes us smart and diligent and analytical and all these things. But in my experience, usually those come from a place of fear. We become really good at stuff because we have a fear of safety. I need to make money. I need to prove myself. I need to be seen and heard. So we grow up and we try to be business people and make money and do the things that are going to give us validation. And all those skills, you never really lose them. Even if you become more spiritual, you still have that set that you've built. But sometimes you get trapped where it's, I need to be more. Why do you need an extra 10%? What do you actually want in your life? If you had $1 million, now you have 2 million, how different is your life? Now you get to 10 million. Do you just want more and more stuff? And you get stuck in this trap of, now am I just a different level, but the same level of seriousness? And because now I have to prove to someone else or a new level. And my analytical mind was always trying to figure out what I had to do. New marketing company, better funnel, hire more people, like thinking, figuring out. And what the reality of it was, that I was shielding myself from something inside that had to change. That was what the problem was. Maybe I didn't believe in myself enough, or maybe I was focusing on the wrong thing because I wasn't clear on what I wanted. And I was taught that the money will give us that. The more success you have, you buy the things to make you happy. You have the less stress about worries. But anyone that I've met that has money, they just have a different level of worry now, or stress. Now they have 5 cars and a boat and a mansion they got to take care of, and gardening people where, 10 or 15 years ago, oh, if I had this, I'd be set. And they get that, and then there's something else because something didn't shift within them. Their surroundings just changed. And so for entrepreneurs, it's like really getting clear on why you even do what you do in the first place, what you really want to create, and how you want to live your life. How do you want to feel? And once you're clear on that and your mission as to why you're doing it, like really getting clear on like the why, for me, the numbers, they will start to expand more than I ever thought I could make the plan for, if that makes sense. I had this 2-year plan and what the goals were, and trying to find that missing piece outside of myself because I didn't feel like I could do it. And then when I got clear on, okay, what do I actually want to create and how would I make it at the best value for the people I'm creating it for? and believe that I can do it based on my skills, based on what I'm good at. And I just focus on that. Have the teams in place, everyone else, but that's what made the bigger shifts than the analytical stuff that I thought. So for me, really mastering entrepreneurship is mastering yourself. Find the blocks that are holding you back. And not just trying to attain more knowledge and strategy and creating these things. Like a very specific example I can give. I do this process every year where I create a vision for myself for the next 12 months. And so I think about myself in the future and all the areas of my life, relationships, like what I'm learning, mental, money, finance, spirituality. And I really think of, okay, like what's a stretch in the next 12 months I think is possible. And last year I was like, okay, I want to reach more people. I want to impact more people. And I thought the way to do that was I need better partnerships. Like I see comparing myself to people getting on like Mind Valley in MySpace and Masterclass and on these big stages. And I feel like, oh, they're better than me. I'm not good enough. How? So I feel like something's wrong with me, or I have to get a better marketing team or do something. And so towards the end of the year, I get reached out by a big platform and they're like, hey, we saw you. We're looking to add this to our offering. You want to apply? And I'm like, okay, sure, I'll apply. I'd love to. And I was like, yes, I manifested this. I did it. Like it works.
It's working.
This process. And so I wanted to create my own program. And I've been like creating excuses. I'm too busy. I'm not ready. Push it off. Doing for other things. So I give them all my best stuff, create this program, submit it. Then they ask me like, hey, what's your community like? How big of an email list? Do you have other people that you can ask to send out for us in your network that will help us market this program? I'm like, absolutely. So I reach out to all my friends and I say, hey, would you support this? And to be honest, I'd never asked anyone to send anything for me. I always didn't want to feel imposing on them or an ask or whatever. But in the situation, I'm like, hey, I got this opportunity. Will you do it? Of course, everyone said yes. I submit everything. I feel really good about it. Put it in. A week later, like, sorry, we went a different direction. I felt this huge rejection. And I was like, oh, why? What's the lesson? Why is this happening to me? I thought this was it. And it was funny because I was right before I had a plant medicine ceremony that I was going into Costa Rica. And throughout the week, I was having a really tough week and a lot of purging and physical pain and these flashes of memories of being rejected by a girl when I was younger, not making the hockey team, and realizing a lot of patterns in my life where I felt only confident when I was working with someone else, or I could be a great support to someone because I believed in them and use all of my brain power and things I'm good at. But for some reason, when it came to me, I started putting myself second and I started like pushing myself to the side and built great things. But I always get to this plateau where like I couldn't get to that next level that I really wanted to go, like doing great things. And I realized, although I didn't feel it because it was in my subconscious, I didn't fully believe in myself. I didn't fully believe in myself. And I wasn't clear on like really how I could help people and what this value was that I wanted to do, but I was unsure that if I did this by myself and put this out there and I got rejected, then I'd be a failure. I wasn't good enough. And in that experience, part of me had to die. And to really be ready for this new version, to show me that the truth was I was already helping people in such a way, creating these transformations, helping them break was true. But there was a belief in me that was believing these old memories of with a feeling of rejection and not being good enough. And it had nothing to do with a better marketing company or an opportunity. And so I came back and I was like, okay, I don't need anyone else. And I'm going to do what I need to do. And I'm just going to do it. And I'm going to go back and ask my friends to send out my stuff that I do, not because I'm working with this other big platform, because I have this thing beside me that validates me. So no, I need to believe in myself. And so I just started doing that, and the energy shifted. The way I realized, the way I was talking to my teammates, there was a little bit of that hesitation or doubt in me, and I could see it now. And I was like, okay. And they were like, okay, what changed in you? Something changed. And nothing really changed on the outside. It was this shift inside. I was like, hey, like I believe in myself. I see what's happening. And then fast forward a couple months, I reached back out to that company, but I did it in my way. It was like, hey, I would love to help something like this with you guys. If you ever have an opportunity, here's this thing and I think would really be a good fit. And a week later, actually, we have this program here. What do you think? And in the application process, I applied without any fear of trying to accommodate them. It's like, here's exactly what I think I could do that would be amazing. And this is the way I would do it, exactly how I would. Next day, yeah, you're in. Go for it. And I got that opportunity. And what was different? It had nothing to do with the actual application. It was something in me had this different energy and I was ready. And I needed that rejection experience that hard moment, to reflect on what had to change within me. You know what I mean? Like something had to shift within me. And I did manifest it, right? Like I thought I manifested that opportunity because that was the one, but what I manifested was the lesson that was going to help me to evolve into something else. Okay. So I know that was like a long story to try to loop it back together as an entrepreneur, but for me, all the leaps and bounds in my business came from not creating a better funnel or hacking a conversion rate or hiring a better marketing company. Yeah, those are good. But the big things happen when I had to shift internally. And that's why as an entrepreneur, doing that inner work is so important, to get clarity, to get alignment, to feel fulfilled. And sometimes it's not about making more money. And that's why a lot of entrepreneurs might be scared to do plant medicine or to do interwork, because they don't want to lose what they have. There's this fear of, am I going to be different? Am I going to want to go and just run through the jungle in my underwear? Like whatever their conception is.
Or without underwear.
Or without underwear. But what I asked them is, what if that brought you 10 times more joy than what you're experiencing right now with it?
Hey, you. Yes, you. My dear listener, thank you for taking the time to listen, to learn, to grow. And I want to make this conversation just for an instant about you and use those reflective moments that we've talked about with Gio for you. Pausing, and I want to ask you in your life right now, what situation feels maybe heavy, maybe challenging, maybe unclear? And if you were radically honest, what could it be reflecting inside of you? What is being called onto you to do, to experience, to change? Deep breath. And we will get back to our episode.
So let's go deeper into transformation, because you beautifully touched that. And so we have, by doing businesses, in that example of entrepreneurship or leading a company, and I have those goals and they're all mind-oriented. And I face challenges. The sales don't work. The team doesn't work. The challenges. And I can look for outside answers, or I can go deep within. And I guess more and more people are open to do the deep work. And let's go into what transformation means. For me, it has been my keyword probably for many years. I used to talk about change management, and then I thought, no, it's not change. We're working to transformation. It's really about, we don't really know the final outcome. There is no control of how it's going to become. And this is more about transformation. It's the capacity to lead from within, without having beautiful dreams and goals, and yes, and wanting to have an amazing life, yes, but also not being sure. Change is maybe it's more about control. So I predict the future, I measure, and I control the change. Transformation is maybe uncontrollable, and it's this flow of energy that just boom. So I face stuff. I'm not selling enough, my team is not producing, whatever. Okay, let's explore those transformation. What has it meant for you, transformation, and what path can you suggest for people listening to us to go deeper when they see that outside it's not working? And you clearly say you need to go inside. You need to look at your deepest fear, why you fear being rejected, why you fear not being enough and not being loved, which all those fears, they connect to the same one. They come to one. What is it for you, this transformation to suggest, to recommend? What is it for you?
So usually it starts with a feeling. To recognize that even a transformation is needed usually comes from a feeling of feeling lost, stuck, frustrated, rock bottom, confusion. We have this voice inside of us that starts to whisper, and then it starts to speak, and then it starts to yell and scream. And sometimes it takes a radical shift in our everyday life, like a rock bottom, a disaster, a failure. And for me, as a very analytical person, I didn't know what that was. When I started, I had all these businesses and started to find a little bit of success. Everything was about how much money can I make? Because that's what I thought was important. Net worth and self-worth was the same. If I make money, I'll be happy, blah, blah, blah. That's what I was told. I started making some money and I felt still empty. And I realized at one point finally that I was unfulfilled. And I tried to say, okay, I got to figure this out. I can problem solve. That's everything I ever did was use my brain to problem solve. Entrepreneurs, all you do is solve problems. That's what an entrepreneur is. They're a good problem solver. But I realized this is a problem of my heart, and the brain cannot solve a problem of the heart with purely logic and analytics, right? And so what I started realizing was I had this guide inside, which is now I know is like an intuition, the gut instinct, something to lead me to curiosity. And that led me to start just looking into philosophy, right? So this searching or feeling for change and how it comes up is it comes from a feeling. And that's what the spark of transformation is. But what actually creates a transformation is the self-awareness. And the first thing that the analytical mind is to look for patterns. What's coming up in your life? It's not just like this argument here or this team's not working. What's the underlying pattern that kind of relates to you, that shows up in your personal life, that shows up here and there? Oh, everyone else has a problem. I start blaming everything else, and I start realizing there's a similar pattern that's coming up that's within me. Because in the human experience, over especially our younger years, we create these beliefs. Beliefs is like the first layer of the lens through which we perceive reality. Okay? And they're important because it gives us this framework to decide, to be safe, to survive. Like, I'm unsafe here. This was uncomfortable. I don't want to avoid that from now on, blah, blah, blah. And we create these beliefs. But what happens is those beliefs go and become the subconscious mind. So everything that we do in the future goes through this filter first. So I believe this to be true. I don't trust guys with long, blonde, wavy hair because when I was a kid, there was this guy that ripped me off, and now this thing, right? So now belief leads to thoughts. So I believe something happens, I'm going to think about it or process it. So I create a thought. So thoughts is the next layer. Then we have an emotional reaction based on what we think. So two people might see the same thing and they're going to have complete different reactions because they believe different things about it. And then you react. After you have an emotional reaction, you either take action, you freeze, whatever. But if we can start recognizing where our core beliefs and our limiting beliefs are, that's the pathway to start transforming. Okay, and there's probably like 20 core beliefs. I'm not good enough, I'm unsafe, I don't belong, I'm not unseen or unheard. There's all these basic ones. And once we start seeing that one, it starts tying into everything else. And the way to change a belief is to find the opposite belief to be true in your life. Where does it show up that it's actually true, to prove it wrong? And we reprogram our mind with repetition plus emotion and visualization. This is why we weaved a lot of that into our breathwork practices, right? And you do it over time, you can actually create a new belief. Because the subconscious mind can be rewired any time. So if you have a belief that's been there for a long time and you keep believing it and thinking it all the time, it creates this very strong belief that this is the way it is. Until we can prove the opposite and start seeing that more and repetitively putting it in, we can create a new belief. So again, like the transformation starts with self-awareness. And sometimes people will do like an ayahuasca experience and they'll reprogram that belief in one night. Like it'll just come, they'll see the truth and it'll just like boom, very intense. The same way an intense trauma, highly emotional state can put a new belief in, right? A very intense experience all of a sudden can create a new belief and pattern that now I believe to be true and I'm afraid or stay away or do things like that. Like another good example, as a kid, you have a presentation, second grade, third grade, you get up, you have this big ketchup stain from a hot dog you ate at lunch and you don't know. And you get up and you're talking, everyone's laughing. And then all of a sudden they start making fun of you. They call you hot dog boy or something like that. And you realize it and you get all shy and embarrassed and you never ever feel comfortable in front of a group of people for the rest of your life, right? You associate a group of people with, I'm going to be embarrassed, people are going to not like me, I'm unliked. So you avoid it at all costs. And it had nothing to do with you. Something happened to you. It didn't mean you were broken. There's nothing wrong with you, but something happened and I stored this belief now. And over time, if you start realizing that there is nothing wrong with you, that it has nothing to do with me, and you create this new belief that I'm fine, there's nothing wrong with me, that fear will start to lessen and go away. And that's where the transformation can happen. Right? So there's a practical way of doing it. And then there's like these deeper transformational experiences where you have that realization. So that's like in a very condensed way of like how I've learned it. And the other part of transformation is also challenging your beliefs, right? To surrender. Because like we don't know any situation if the outcome is really good or bad. Our beliefs will try to control it, like you were saying, to say, okay, like this is not good for me. So for example, in a business, your best employee quits on you. All of a sudden I'm not coming to work tomorrow. And the reaction is, oh my God, how am I going to go on? All this work, it's finished, it's over, blah, blah, blah. Like your mind can spiral and think of the worst case scenarios and whatever. But we don't know if that next employee that comes in is going to totally revolutionize our whole company and look back and say, wow, that person quitting was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because I'm sure there's times in your life and anyone's life where something they thought was the worst thing that ever happened to them ended up creating this pivotal change in their life that took their life in a whole new direction. A lot of people, it's a rock bottom. A lot of people, it's a death in the family or a sickness or something that finally said, okay, I got 6 months to live. There was a story of this construction worker I saw the other day, and he had brain cancer, given 6 months to live, quit his job, started DJing, and just started like doing these raves. And he's lived like another 15 years. He found his joy, his passion. Like his body was telling him, hey, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. And maybe he was scared. He need to make an income. He didn't believe he could do it, like this passion. And now he's like, okay, if I only have 6 months, I'm just going to do it anyways. Who cares? And that changed everything in someone's life. And so it's trying to surrender to the moment. It's okay, like I can worry about this and be so serious and like worry. It's okay, let me allow and see what happens. And a great book for me that loved was very pivotal for me was A Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. I always recommend that. It's his life story of letting go of expectation. And there's that famous Chinese parable about the Chinese farmer that has his only horse runs away and all the towns, oh, you have such bad luck, your life is over. It's like, we'll see. I don't know. Next day, horse comes back. 2 other horses, wild horses, come with it. Everyone's like, oh, you have such good luck. Amazing. He said, we'll see. I don't know. His son's trying to break in the horse so they can use it on the farm. He gets thrown off, breaks his leg. And everyone's like, oh, what bad luck you have. It's a bad omen. And he's like, we'll see. War breaks out. The army comes looking for all the young kids. This kid can't go because he's a broken leg. Okay, look, we'll see. But every situation you could have freaked out, looked at the worst case scenario, the best case scenario. But sometimes just, okay, like we don't know what's going to happen. Let's just be in the moment and allow things to unfold and just be open to possibilities. The story is unfolding. We don't know where it's going. To be curious and excited of the best or the worst or being so absolute, right? And for me, to that process too about transformation is what I found working with people. A lot of people are not clear on how they want to feel and what they want. So they're running in this hamster wheel of just reacting to everything. Okay? So that's one side of it. Like looking forward and being clear on how I want to feel. What does my life really want to be like? So they don't have nothing that they're working towards to manifest. And then they're not doing the work on reprogramming all the beliefs and stuff into all these things that have happened that's creating this lens of reality. So you have these two things on each end, and then there's so much chaos in their life, they can't be present in the moment. So how do you create that clarity in the moment? That's where it starts, is like breath work, slowing down, meditation, space for yourself, a routine, self-care, creates the space and the clarity. So now I can take some time to think about what I want to create. And also start reflecting on, okay, what can I change within me? What are these patterns that I'm seeing? What are these things that keep coming up that are trying to get my attention that I'm just ignoring or blaming on someone else? For a whole year, I was trying to fix my sales team, bringing in a new consultant, didn't work, hiring the wrong people. It wasn't the sales team that was a problem. There was something within me in this company that I had to change and realign and get clear on so that now anyone that comes in can now be that right salesperson. And I'm seeing that change. But my mind was trying to fix it from like an analytical point of view. Sales is the problem. I have to fix that person, right? Or it wasn't like, okay, like maybe I'm not being clear on the message and the outcome and the product of what I really want to create. And I have to be clear on believing in that. And once that was clear, the energy attracted the right people to come and help. So I'm going on a rant all over the place here. It's making sense.
It does. It is. And I think just to summarize it, it's a lot of people can be very clear on what they want, and the universe is in constant growth. It's like growth is part of our nature. We are meant to be constantly expanding our limits, our beliefs, to be on the edge. We're pushing the edge always, because that's the nature of universe. I believe that. So it's healthy to want more. It's how do I want it? So this goal of clear, okay, what I want, how do I want to feel while I'm doing it? I think that's the most important, and that many people forget, and then they're completely stressed and anxious and sweating, running, and so they forgot the why. Why do I want that? And then
that's important to contemplate that. Like, why do I really want this? What is it? Exactly what you said. How's it going to make me feel? Because you realize, in order to feel that way, I actually don't need that. I can get that feeling in other ways. Sorry to cut you off. Keep going.
It's all right. And then the releasing of the past, of the blockages, of the traumas, of the beliefs, of the emotions that are stuck in our bodies. So we release the past that is blocking us, that is making us repeat the past. And the past wants to, the brain on the survival mode just wants to repeat the same stories itself. So it saves energy. It feels safer because it knows it. And so how do we hack? How do we hack those past beliefs and traumas and ideas that don't serve us anymore, so we can grow and we can be open and we can leave room and space. I guess that's to summarize what I heard from you. And so let's talk about plant medicine because it's a way of releasing the past. And also it can open intuition, foreseeing the future of who you are meant to be. And quick anecdote for me, I've been on that path for 4 years now, I think. And in Latin America, I've lived in Ecuador. So I lived in a little town, Vilcabamba, with many amazing shaman, like beautiful, very inspiring people. And so I started my journey there. And for me, it has been like a way of remembering universal love. Like every ceremony, sometimes I purge all night and I know it's good for me. And I stopped fearing purging. I stopped fearing this, no, I don't want to puke. It's like, something is coming out. Oh, that's great. Something blocked from I don't know when and where. It's like, good. In the end result has always been universal love. Like just remembering this is my essence and I can forget it and I can remember it. I never had the type of experience where some people come back with like very clear insight about what they should be doing in their life, like a message of entrepreneurship, ideas, and like innovation. And like, that has not been my journey. And the last journey has been with ketamine, with the heart protocol, and it was so deep, and it was really experiencing being the universe, being part of everything and everyone, and that we are all one, and just experiencing that, and on different layers and dimensions of realities. And I've learned other stuff, obviously, but those are like the main one. And I think for me, it's like, wow, this is so healing in my journey, in my stories. So I want to ask you about plant medicine. I recommend it to people who are curious, who feel cold. Take precaution, be very careful how you're going to do it, with who you're going to do it. But it's something like, if you feel it, let go of the pills that you've been taking, especially in North America and so many countries, actually. Completely, there's this addiction on pills, and this is okay. It's okay to be addicted to alcohol. It's okay to be addicted to pills. But then you talk about plant medicine. Oh, no, I heard that story. Someone died. Someone went crazy. And suddenly it's like a big thing. And yes, there are some extreme cases, and it's very sad. But there are so many amazing, beautiful cases to inspire. Wow, we need to go into that. And please.
Yeah, it's a very big question. And just for context, you hear the one or two stories of someone who died. Usually it wasn't from the plant medicine. Maybe they ran off into the jungle and fell and hit their head, or the rare case of someone who shouldn't be taking it because of a drug interaction, that they're taking something else and they didn't tell anyone, or predisposed like schizophrenia. But in comparison to how many people die a year from pharmaceutical medication or alcohol, it's not even comparable. It's like they've done studies where it's like, these psychedelics, they pale in comparison as far as the risk versus reward. Again, it's people do it because they either have a calling or they're out of desperation, where they've tried everything else and they're willing to try anything. But for me, plant medicine, specifically ayahuasca, has been my greatest teacher in life, like hands down. And I also equate like plant medicine as a part of God. And I'm a part of God too, and everything in reality is a part of God. And it kind of strips back to the truth and that essence of love that you said that comes through. It's like all these spiritual truths that I've heard in a lot of the books that I've read, they come through on ayahuasca so clear. I might have read that quote or that meme 100 times, and now it just clicks. And it's in a way that it's said the same way, but now it has a deeper, fuller, more clear meaning that I can understand how to integrate into my life. And in the beginning, yeah, there's a lot of crap that you got to process. It's cleaning, because the plant medicine, specifically ayahuasca, is cleaning. It's cleaning out all of these things that we attach to, we pick up, we hold on to. And once that cleaning is done, and sometimes it takes quite a few ceremonies to get there, sometimes it's pretty quick, every person's different, that's when the real education starts. The relationship starts to go deeper with ayahuasca. The trust is formed, and it starts teaching me about life, about how to be a better father, better in business, how to be more in integrity, how to worry less and be more present, and teaches me in such ways that are so profound, sometimes so simple, sometimes such an aha moment. And usually it rewards the courage, the willingness to go and do the work and go into the hard stuff and really engage with it. And the other side, it shows you something so beautiful. And my first experience with ayahuasca, and every time I get exactly what I need, not what I think I want, it gives me what I need. This experience, I had a death experience because I guess I was afraid of dying. I had all these fears. And in that death experience, I was reborn. It was showing me this beauty and continuity of consciousness that goes beyond the physical form. And that was like a huge eye opener for me, which changed the way I viewed reality. My belief system changed in that one moment. We were talking about beliefs, and I could see things from a different perspective, like all of a sudden. So when your perspective changes, the whole world changes in an instant, right? Because we're viewing this experience, right? And also, what it showed me in my first experience, that I thought I was smart, clever, figured some stuff out, was in business and whatever. And it was just like, dude, you're like an ant in the universe. You know nothing about anything. Like you see this small fragment of reality and consciousness. And that goes for humans in general. Like we think we know so much, and really we know nothing. And it was scary, like the vastness of it, which actually made me purge because it was just too much. But I just wanted to give me a glimpse, like 1% more than I thought all of reality was. It was like, this is still nothing. But it was also encouraging. It's like, okay, like I have so much to explore and to be, and just to be where I am and have this experience and not worry about the complexity of God and life and all these existential questions I had. What is the meaning of it? Which I thought it was going to give me an answer. It's like, here's the meaning of life. There you go. What's the point now? The point is, it's a mystery on purpose. We come here. We don't know how we got here, where we came from. We don't know why we're here, how humans got here, how we don't even know like how the pyramids were made and all these things that we're finding on Earth. And so we haven't been to like more than a few percent of the oceans. We know nothing about space. Like we're just these little kind of like things wandering around. And I think it's meant to be like that, to be confusing, to be scary, to be beautiful, to have this contrast for us to explore and grow and evolve as spiritual beings. And this exploration of life, this mystery, is what makes it beautiful. It allows us to have scary and hard experience, but also expansiveness and joy, to be curious, but not to worry. So one day we're going to figure something out more than we know now. But even in death, I think that's just opening to a new experience of something that's going to be greater, wilder, crazier than what we can imagine. And Terence McKenna said it beautifully about plant medicine. He said, whatever, if you haven't done ayahuasca, whatever you think it is, I can guarantee you it's not that. And that's the same with like after when we die. Like whatever you think it's going to be, I can guarantee you it's not going to be that. It'll be something that we have no idea of what it could be and what's possible. And to just rest assured that, okay, like when we get there, we'll get there. And then we'll be in that experience. And, you know, hopefully if we live a good life and do things good, that the lessons that come next are going to be exactly what we need there. And I think it's going to be beautiful. And so plant medicine opened me in ways that I don't know who I would be right now without it, because it just expanded my perspective in such a way that changed the whole course of my life. Like what I'm doing, how I do things, where it's led me, the relationships, the experiences, the beauty of life. And it's also simplified it, where I don't have to conquer the business world. I don't have to do all these things that I thought was the meaning. It was like to strive for, to get to this point. And a lot of us think like, when I get there, then I'll figure it out. But there is no point. The point is to just be, without having to search. The Tao, that Chinese text, the Tao or the Tao, however you say it, is to do without doing. It's like to be in such a space where you don't have to think about it. You're just being, and you're in that fully present moment all the time. And a lot of the masters talk about that, and like you hear the memes and it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But it's not like trying to get there. It's like when you're there, you're there. It's like this process of letting go of attachments and chasing and striving to just be. And that's when your essence come out. That's when you find your purpose. It's not something to find, it's you become your purpose. And when people ask me, oh, I need to find my purpose, like in my breath work, my intention is to find my purpose. I'm like, you're probably not going to find your purpose in a breath work. You're probably not going to find an ayahuasca. Even those people that come with this clear path, like that's just the next thing that they need to probably do to learn more about getting to where they need to go. Not the end all. This is the solution to your life. This is just this next thing that has something to teach you. And by taking each next step and learning more about ourselves, we let go of these attachments, expectations, we come a little bit closer to living our life of purpose.
Take a breath here. What is one belief you've been carrying about yourself, dear listener, that might no longer be true, but is still shaping your life, that is still holding you back? And what would you actually do differently starting today if you let go of that belief? Let's think, let's reflect, and get back to the podcast.
I guess a challenge when people take plant medicine, and maybe with any methodology. Dancing is one of my medicine that I love so much to share. So I take people into embodiment journeys, breathwork, plant medicine, all those technologies that help us work on being present, on being, on becoming, on releasing. They're experiencing their experiences of embodiments. Like, it's very deep, and very often the rationale is not following it because maybe it's irrational, or maybe it's just outside the limits of the thinking mind. So when we have those peak experiences, a challenge is, how do we ground that? How do we incorporate into our daily life and to make it useful? This experience I had in Costa Rica, how do I bring it to my company, to the US? What can you suggest in terms of integration?
So the question is like a specific experience. Now I feel like I need to act on it or do it or make it happen or bring it to my business.
Yeah, bring this. Holy cow! That was quite an experience. I come back home with my family, with my beloved, with my colleagues at work, and I'm like, wow, what do I do with that?
Yeah, again, like it's a tricky question. Like integration is, I think, where most people stumble because they have this peak experience and they feel this vibration of unity and oneness and they try to grasp onto it and hold it. They go back into environment that probably created dissonance of their vibration in the first place. And it's not about, again, like protecting your environment or changing things. It's like, how do I keep that change within me? Got a glimpse of what's possible. Now, how do I hold that vibration so that nothing on the outside world can really affect me? And this is that practice that's okay. Like, how do I get myself back into that space? What's that routine? Am I spending time in nature? Because where you put your environment, it seeps in a little bit, right? And we start responding to this external stimuli, like maybe people that are challenging, maybe being on too much social media, maybe just being out of our natural state. And for me, it's what's like the one lesson that I got this time, the one change that I can make for me. I'm not trying to change anyone else, I'm not trying to like whatever. It's what's that one change for me that I can embody and do a little bit differently or even learn and create this new pattern within me that becomes this new belief, this new aspect of my being that I can bring with me. And to follow your intuition. When you go back, it's okay. If this job actually sucks and I hate it, but it's scary to think about leaving, it's okay. Like, how much longer do I want to stay in this space for? You saw about what's possible. You saw about what life can feel like. If your current life is not in alignment with that, then it's up to you to make the change. But a lot of people have the fear of, oh, no, I know what's certain. And I know even though I don't love it, I'll just go and do ayahuasca every couple months, feel that feeling, come back into this crappy environment. So the change is like internal and external, but you have to have the courage to make that and trust and have faith. That's where like spirituality and religion is. Okay, like something's guiding me to make these changes. And I can either trust it and believe in it and believe in myself or have fear and just go back to what I know.
And so, like this, what's one change I can honestly, lovingly put into place after a peak experience? Just one little thing. If it's only one, it's already amazing. One thing that you can do and that's gonna impact beautifully your life. Let's go into breath work, or breath first. When we're born, the first thing we do is, and then we cry and we make noise, and so it's the first thing we do when we come on this beautiful planet Earth. And then the last thing we do before dying is, and we're gone. So the importance of breath, it's the first and last thing we do. And in between, we forget about how do we breathe, why do we breathe. And so that's in a nutshell, I guess, what breath work is for me. Breath is coming back to the present moment and realizing, oh, my lungs are filling up a little bit, much. Oh, I'm only using half of my lungs, 40%, when I only breathe from the torso up, or if I go into the diaphragm down. And so it's been a beautiful practice for me the past few months, of every time now the consciousness of, oh, I'm in the car driving, oh, how am I breathing right now? Okay, let's do a different pattern. I'm sitting, whatever. It's just this constant consciousness. And also For some back problem I have now, it's like the consciousness of my posture. I need to be standing really straight and breathing at the same time. So it's becoming a beautiful addition. So why breath? Why breath work for you?
Why breathwork for me? I got into it not having any idea what it was all about. After ayahuasca, I realized I need to meet new friends and people that can expand my perspective more than the bubble that I lived in. I lived in a very kind of interesting community, which was 95% Italian, Catholic, Roman Catholic. Everyone thought the same, did the same things. Like, it was very in a bubble. And I realized, okay, after ayahuasca, okay, I need to find people I can learn from, I can expand. And I volunteered for a website. I started a podcast, and I met a guy named Wim Hof before he was super famous. He invited me to his first training, and I went there and had no idea anything about breathing or breath work, and it blew my mind. Breathing can change your states, but then also, like, you can have these deep experiences, like the two ends of the spectrum. Your nervous system is tied to your breath, the energy levels, the way you sleep, your brain activity, like, it's all controlled and impacted by the way you breathe. And so when things happen to us, like beliefs or traumas, our breathing pattern changes and we start breathing through our mouth, breathing more shallow. And we're creating this loop that's telling our body fight and flight. We think about stressful things or fear as we breathe. Our nervous system is like a wreck, and we get into this pattern and we start taking drugs and we can't sleep and we distract ourselves. So there's the functional side of breathing, and then there's the transformative side of breathing, that when we breathe, we get off the analytical part of our mind, the brain waves change, we can drop into the heart, have these almost psychedelic experience, have these breakthroughs, go into like flow states, have shifts in consciousness, be able to create things. And so it's this versatile tool that we all have, and when you learn how to do it, it's free, that can completely change your life. And I realized quickly, wow, like, this can really help people. It helped me so much, create so much changes, that I wanted to share it. And slowly it just evolved into a business. I never thought I would create a breathwork business or a company. It was the only thing that really just organically just happened and just led me. And I kept breathing and going to these states. It was giving me insights, downloads. Hey, try this, do this. Just trust your heart, follow your intuition, get out of your mind. And it allowed me to do that. So it's probably the most powerful tool that we have at our disposal, that we can access anytime, to regulate our nervous system, to sleep better. And we can train ourselves to breathe properly, to breathe through our nose, to breathe less, to breathe deeply. Doesn't mean breathing big. It means breathing into our diaphragm, expansive breath through our nose, gentle, almost like we're not breathing. And some people think that breathing more is the answer, but it's actually not, because actually we should be breathing less. Buteyko was a scientist that realized that when people were breathing too much, they got sicker and they were dying faster. And when they slowed their breathing down, they got better. And reducing your breathing is going to help to regulate your nervous system. It's not just when you feel stress, it's creating that practice, that foundation to breathe all the time, gentle.
You mean the frequency of inhale and exhale to reduce?
The frequency, the volume, all of really slowing down our breath. But if we're used to breathing fast, it's going to be challenging, because what triggers you to feel the need to breathe is how much carbon dioxide is in your body. When we breathe quickly, we blow out all the carbon dioxide, so we never allow it to really increase. Carbon dioxide allows us to have better circulation, helps us to deliver oxygen to our cells, to our legs, to our brain. So if someone's in this really poor breathing pattern, they're over breathing, they have less oxygen in their brain. They're going to be more scattered. They're going to have more like ADHD and fear and all these kind of things. They don't have enough oxygen. Jello legs, poor circulation, get cold more, like all these things that the body's responding. When you correct that over time, you start allowing yourself to feel uncomfortable with the carbon dioxide level, your body will change and adapt. And then you get to this place where you can be present all the time. And something stressful happens, you're less reactive. That's a practice in breath work. And then the other tool is like these deeper experiences, which can reset the nervous system, which can have a very cathartic release, or changing a belief, or a memory comes up, or accessing all kinds of different things. So it's the two ends of the spectrum of breath work that are both beautiful and powerful in their own right, and combined together is like this perfect synergy of day-to-day mastery of like my nervous system, my state, and being present. And then having these deeper explorative journeys to help you get creativity, to help heal things in the past, and to get these insights and that next thing to integrate into our life, that aha moment. Oh, I just got to do this now. I got to call my friend that I haven't spoken to in a long time. I got to forgive someone. I got to forgive myself. That's what usually happens with deeper experiences, the ahas. And when you have a clear mind during the day, you can contemplate more and just use your brain better and be present and not reacting out of fear or stress or paranoia. You're in the present moment.
Just connected some dots listening to you right now, and I want to share it because it's an insight. Every time we want to grow, life gives us the challenges to grow. I came for breathwork because I'm creating this methodology about I'm uniting dancing embodiment with breathwork, with visualization. It's an evolutionary journey from the Big Bang, from the silence and the Big Bang to the first tribe dancing together, to the Mesopotamia, to the pyramids, to the future and technology. It's an amazing journey, and breathwork is part of it right now. And this is the expansion I'm focusing on. And so I traveled half the globe to go learn with you. And I want to be, okay, I want to learn about breathwork. I want to integrate that in my life. And I came back from the facilitators retreat, and I've been very stressed this month and a half since I saw you last. It's like a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of tension around me for work, for many situations. But now I just connected. Okay, I wanted to learn breathwork. I wanted to expand. I wanted to have that inside of me. I'm not going to be at peace and just, oh, why would I breathe if everything is easy? Like now, because I'm breathing every day and I'm feeling the challenges, I'm feeling the tension, it's like I'm on the edge. What would have happened if I wasn't breathing? It gives me like the polarity of, it allows me, it helps me go through challenging time. It helps me, and I can see how I can grow and face those challenges because I'm breathing consciously every day and more. Because I asked for it. I asked, hey, I want to grow and I want to learn through breathwork how I can become a better person, a better facilitator, a better teacher, everything. So thanks for this insight, connecting dots.
And there's this beautiful quote I heard the other day online. And when we ask to grow, we get challenged. When God wanted to make David the king, he didn't give him a crown. He sent Goliath. Mm-hmm. He could just say, here's the crown, you're the king. No, I'm going to send you a giant so that you can become a king. And you have to kill the giant, David and Goliath, right? And so in life, when we ask to grow, we're going to get challenged now because now we have to evolve, right? Mm-hmm. Like the lobster, when it grows, what happens? It's going to break through its shell. It's got to literally break its shell and shed it. And then it's vulnerable. It's got to go hide under a rock because anything could eat it because it's got no protection. And then it creates this new shell. And life was like that. When we want to grow, like life is going to throw you a challenge that now can give you the opportunity to grow. And some people start doing this work, they feel like they're going backwards. All these things are coming up. I thought I was finished with this. I thought I've healed that and this. No, now it's an opportunity to really create that change because maybe you're just avoiding it or pushed it away or had some coping strategy to avoid it. And now it's like, hey, you really are ready to grow now? Okay, here's your opportunity again. I'm going to bring this challenge back into your life. What are you going to do differently now? How are you going to actually learn and grow from it? So bring it to the edge, find that stress. You want to work with people who are feeling that. Okay, David, I'm going to make you feel in this way that people are probably going to come and feel when they want to work with you. Now you have to have the experience and embody it and transform through your methodology, these insights, these things you're doing. So now you can show them the way. Because I don't want someone to show me the way that hasn't been through the fire. I don't want someone to read a book and try to teach me who has the experience. Like you left the corporate world and you went on this journey and explored and all of these things. And now you have that experience, the first-hand experience on how to lead someone that's going to come there. That's probably where you were when you needed to make that change. And every time a challenge comes up for me, it's okay, this is for me. It's not to me. It's not happening to me. There's something here for me. Although it's uncomfortable, I got to stay present with it so that I can learn what this next lesson is trying to teach me in life.
I completely agree, obviously. And thank you for sharing that. And I just want to add also, coming back to the importance of breathing in the yoga world, I've heard that the yogis, they think that we have all a certain amount of breath in our lives. Let's say I have 80 million breath. If I breathe, I just lost a minute of life. And if I breathe slower, I'm gaining. And who knows if this is true or not?
You know how they realize
it's beautiful.
That? You know how they realize that? Through observing animals. And the animals that breathe the quickest are the shortest lifespans. The animals that breathe the slowest live the longest. There's a few exceptions, the kingdom, but the majority, it's true. Like dogs, they breathe really quickly. They don't live very long. Things that live really long, like some of the ocean animals that have very slow breaths, hold their breath for super long, they live very long life. And throughout nature, they started realizing this. Different animals that breathe at different rates would last longer. And the yogis somehow, they knew all these crazy things that just science is just catching up to now.
It's
with
amazing.
breath, with the 8 limbs of yoga, all these things. It's like, how did they know? Either there was an advanced civilization that brought that knowledge to us, or they were able to go super deep and learn from a different place, which I think both are probably true.
I remember that story of, oh man, names. This guy from Harvard in the 60s and who went to India, and he was very famous for bringing LSD into campus and into the world. And
Ram Dass or Timothy Leary, one of the
Timothy
guys.
Leary. And going to India and meeting this guru, and the guru asked about LSD, and just give me, and he just took the whole
Oh, that's
package. I don't know
that's
if it,
that's Ram Dass. Richard Alpert, I think, was his actual.
okay. And his guru just takes everything, and he didn't feel anything because he was already in that state of total awareness, presence, and connection. Tell us about your program, about elemental rhythm, and how can people learn,
Yeah, so
receive your gifts.
so if people just want to learn about breath work, just go to our website. We have an app, we have some free courses that will teach you about breathing better, some experiences to go deeper. The first step is just to experiment with yourself and just experience and see what you feel. And then for people that really want to work with other people to share this experience, to help other people transform, we have facilitator programs, we have coaching programs, we have all these programs. What we realized is the program itself is about transformation, because in order for someone to really facilitate and lead, they have to go through their own personal transformation. So it's designed so that they do really embody breath work for the 60 days in the program. They're breathing every day, having more self-awareness, being able to share with others, because that gift of giving and holding space actually creates a transformation within the facilitator as well. And so we really focus on that personal transformational journey with the facilitator while they're learning the tools to lead others. But it's not just the tools, it's about their transformation. Because like I just said earlier, as you transform yourself, now you have this experience to share and help others through their own transformations. So it's a really transformational process. Some people do it because they just want to go through their own transformation. Some people do it because they want to serve others. The only thing I can say for sure is becoming a facilitator will be life changing. It's different for everyone how it changes their life, but I can guarantee that anyone who just does it and sticks with it and starts facilitating breath work, their life will be very different 6 to 12 months from now. And if you're not ready to facilitate, or you're not sure, just start with your own breath work and see where it leads you. But I can promise you, starting to do breath work every day, 30, 60 days from now, things are going to start shifting in a beautiful way. Elementalrhythm.com is where they can find it, or if they want to connect with me on Instagram at elementalgeo. If you have a question, you can just message me on there, just leave a comment. But it's a beautiful community. That's the one thing that I love the most about it that I wasn't really expecting, is just meeting all these incredible people from different walks of life that are going through their own transformations. It's been one of the most fulfilling things out of all the businesses I've done. For many times it didn't make sense from a business sense, but the more I let go, I just allowed it. It's growing and evolving into something that's fulfilling in so many different ways. So yeah, so everyone's invited to check it out. I'll give you a link to, you can put in the show notes, and
I will put the direct link. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
and check it out. I encourage anyone to just explore breathwork, even if it's not with me. Go on YouTube, find some, get into a practice, and make up your own mind about how it makes you feel.
You can't go wrong learning how to breathe consciously, lovingly, because it brings self-care, self-love to myself when I put attention into my breath. So it brings my attention inwards, and in a way, I just make my quality of life better just by doing this. So putting more attention, more time, more resources to that is such a great investment. And thank you for doing that. You also have a podcast, GeoCast, with Giovanni Bartolomeo.
Yeah.
You've interviewed really extraordinary people in all those many years. Gabor Mate, Wim Hof. And I wanted to ask you about what's one cool story that just came from all those interviews, all this podcasting, an anecdote that is, wow, that was amazing.
Yeah, I met a lot of interesting people that kind of blew my mind. But the best was the Wim Hof experience, because I reached out to him and then he invited me to the training, and that changed my life. When I wasn't expecting it. It was those things I didn't know where it was going to lead me. I just was like, follow my intuition and didn't overthink it. And all these things started happening after that. But the one thing about Wim that I loved is he's himself. And that's the one thing that I try to embody when I teach other facilitators too, is like, how do you be yourself the most so that you can really impact people and attract people that are attracted to your unique, authentic vibration. The other thing that I learned from Wim was that he believed in people. He believed in people more than they believed in himself. And that feeling of someone believing in you is so powerful and empowering that it helped me to find and see the strengths in other people, even if they couldn't see in themselves, and to really help them to find that. Because I know what that felt like. And when I just felt this guy that was like, yeah, you can do it, go for it. No doubt. He didn't doubt me for a second, or anyone there. And we were just doing things that all of us thought was like, wow, this is crazy. And the whole podcasting in general, which at first was I was afraid and scared and not confident, I learned so much about just putting myself out there, asking, like looking for support. And I met all these interesting people like Graham Hancock, Gabor Mate, interviewed Wim Hof and a few other cool people. And now I got like my own YouTube channel that I'm just having fun with. And it's not about trying to get a certain amount of numbers or whatever. It's just how do I want to authentically express myself? And the right people will come and I'll talk to them, and just allowing that to see where it goes, to let go of what I think it should be and employ some strategy, but not to be overly concerned or worried about it. It's okay, like, how do I really want to express myself? And that's what I learned from doing the podcast. And I started doing my own just solo cast. Just, okay, like, I don't even really need to interview people. I just want to share. And I just started doing that for a while and really just going with the flow. It's been fun. It led me into some amazing opportunities and experiences. And yeah, overall, it was just super great just to hear and absorb wisdom from some people that, you know, have been through their own wild experiences in life.
Beautiful. And this podcast is called Next Evolution because it came to me. I woke up one morning and I was like, it's Next Evolution, of course. And I created my company. It's called Next Evolution LLC. And I'm creating Evolution Flow. So it's like I felt this call that my role has to do with evolution from deep within. We talk about dormant DNA, that our chromosome, we are only using 2-stranded and 4-stranded, and then we're talking about 8-stranded, but 12-stranded, 24-stranded DNA. Basically, the belief is that we have all the information inside for our evolution, and we just need to realize it, to put the light onto it. So maybe it's the light of the sun, maybe it's the light from your inside, from the inner work, from the medicine. It's just about putting light there so we become those Homo illuminus instead of Homo technologicus. And that is the polarity that we are facing. We go further down the technology, merging with AI, or we go further down in the spiritual path and awakening all our capacities, precognitive, pre-sentient, like all that we could dream of, and time travel, or all those things that we see in sci-fi movies, they might be very likely possible. So I want to ask you, what's your take on our next evolution and what you believe, where you're heading to?
Yeah, like I think the next evolution, like at a race kind of with AI and the controllers of the world and the people that want to consume and own and everything are trying to really systematize this technological overhaul of all the systems and using computers to really control all of that. And they have algorithms and prediction models and all this stuff. But the one thing I don't think that they can account for is the shift in consciousness. And I think that light that comes from within all the humans, once we start to break free from here and more into here, we're going to see a radical shift in consciousness. Maybe the DNA will change, but there's this light because we give off this field. Our hearts communicate with each other. And I think it's possible to communicate across vast distances, but we have to get into that frequency. And part of my mission is like, how can I impact it in a way? And it's through teaching breathwork and helping people to become more self-aware, more in their hearts. And I'm just trying to do my part through teaching people how to lead, to be authentic, to express themselves, and using breathwork as a tool for self-expansion, to help create that shift in humanity where we're going to break free from the mental construct and move more into the intelligence of the heart and the body. So that's where I think the next evolution is coming. I think it's already happening. I think people are feeling it and feeling this kind of divide that we're seeing play out in the real world, this polarity that eventually is going to create this new kind of wave that's in the middle. As we stretch too far in the pendulum, something new is going to come to the heart, where we're going to start seeing our similarities over our differences, where the controlling powers that are trying to divide, we're going to see through the illusion and find this kind of middle path into our hearts and peace in humanity and that kind of like sustainable evolution from the heart. So that's what I think and what I pray for.
To unity, to one world, one planet, one human family, to go towards a closure of our space. I always love to invite people to embody what we talk about. So we talked about plant medicine, about transformation, about breath work, about letting go, releasing. And I want to, if you're okay with it, to invite you to guide us into a breath work or breathing pattern that we could do right now and help our listeners just tune into what breath work
Yeah,
is.
so we'll keep it really simple here and we'll create some links for a deeper journey that they can go on with music and all the guidance. But for now, I would just say just closing your eyes, sitting up nice and tall, and imagine just a string from the crown of your head, just pulling it straight up to the sky. Just drop your shoulders. And I invite you to take a slow, deep breath in through your nose, but gentle, into your diaphragm. And as you exhale, just relax your body. And then another slow, deep breath, just focusing your awareness on your breath. All the way in, and then just slowly exhaling again, just relaxing. Just do a few more of these breaths, just dropping into the present moment, extending the exhale, a little pause at the end of our exhale, and then a slow, gentle breath, almost so slow you can't even feel the nose hairs in your nose moving. Just really gentle, present. And I invite you to think of a moment in your life where you experienced an immense amount of gratitude. Birth of a child, something you accomplished, being in nature, a good friend. And go to that moment as if it's happening right now. And just breathe, allow your body to relax, feel safe. Be in that moment and just feel the feeling of gratitude in your body. Try to bring that feeling up to the center of your chest. And your next inhale, breathe in through your heart, that feeling of gratitude, allow it to expand through every cell in your body. And from this place of gratitude, just try to embody one thing that you heard that resonated, something that sparked your curiosity in this podcast. And just set that intention to explore that feeling, that insight, that curiosity, wherever it leads you next, whether it's to a book, to a podcast, to a Google search. Take that next step on your journey to following your heart and your intuition. And to be grateful for where you are right now, because you're exactly where you need to be. And also in this moment, I just want to share my gratitude for you, David, for holding this space today and for doing this work and for being a great example. I thank you. That's how simple breathwork can be. It can be very simple and relaxing. And hopefully you felt a little shift. If you're listening, just a few breaths, just really just bring you into that present moment.
Gio Bartolomeo, thank you so much for who you are, for the brother that I feel in you and the work you do, the impact you're doing in so many people learning with you, all the pattern of elemental breath work, which is what makes, I believe, unique your methodology, different patterns, connecting with gratitude, connecting with the inner child. And it's very beautiful. So thank you for your being, for your doing. See you very soon. And count me in on any journeys and adventure, and I will count you in also.
Okay, beautiful.
I'm creating a holistic retreat center near Houston in Texas. And it's a long-term project. It's a very big project. I know you've been very connected with retreat centers as well in Canada. And at some point,
yeah, I'd love to learn more.
Connect.
Sounds amazing. Yeah, thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother. See you soon. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us, for giving us your time, your attention, and let's all breathe together. Bye-bye.